Hello again everyone, this is The Breakdown, welcoming you guys back to another MCU movie review video. In today's menu, we will be served my favorite movie of the Iron Man franchise, Iron Man 2. Now before you click off this video, give me a couple of minutes to explain myself. I know reviews and critics give a lot of crap to this movie for having a bad villain. Well, two actually, and they also say that Whiplash was very underwhelming, and I can agree with that partially. But I think that this movie is very underrated because of the bad villains and all that, which are only accountable for part of the movie. All of this I'll be addressing in just a second, but before that, spoiler warning for all of those people not from this world. So with all that in mind and without further ado, let's get started. So, as always, I'll be going over the good parts of the movie first, then I'll talk about the bad and what could have improved, which will finally lead into the rating and the final verdict. Anyways, let's start with the good stuff about this movie, and for the first time I can say that a movie has more good things than bad stuff, because in my last two reviews I talked mostly negative things about those movies. Go check those videos out if you haven't already. With all that out of the way, let me start by saying that this movie had all of the pieces of the puzzle to make a great movie. The producers just didn't know how to put them together. No offense to Jon Favreau and his directing. Iron Man 2 had a great first act by introducing us to one of the main antagonists, Whiplash, and his main motivation to kill Iron Man, which in my opinion seems more reasonable if we compare them to Ironmonger's motivation in the first Iron Man film. The first act also features one of my favorite suits from the Iron Man in the MCU, which is the Mark V suit. This suit is so nice in my opinion because I just like the mix of hot red and silver. Also, this movie introduces us to War Machine and Black Widow. Black Widow doesn't have much of an impact on the plot, but it's just cool to see her doing stunts in some scenes. Jim Rhodes in this movie is played by Don Cheadle? I don't know. Instead of Terrence Howard, which it didn't affect my view on the movie at all. Throughout the movie, we also get to see that Tony has health repercussions due to the poisonous material that the arc reactor is made of, and we also get to know more about Tony's life and such. So I think it was a neat side story to add to the film. The post-credit scene in this movie is very much a straight up giveaway that Thor would also be part of the MCU at some point, and I thought it was a nice short post-credit scene. But in every movie there's gotta be good parts to it, but there's also has to be some bad aspects because not all movies are perfect. All of the bad things in this movie don't take away a lot from the good because they're just minor stuff in my opinion. One of the best parts of the movie is the fight scene between Iron Man and Whiplash, even though it's short. But I would have loved to see a rematch in the final act of the movie because all the hype that goes into the second act to make a great final battle in the movie goes to waste because it's pretty much the final battle from Iron Man 1, and it was very underwhelming for me. Another issue is in this movie is Justin Hammer. He is my least favorite villain in the MCU, right beside Ironmonger, because he is pretty much a filler in the movie because his whole purpose is to be almost like a sidekick to Whiplash, but he's given a bigger role in this movie for some reason. Last and most likely the least of the issues is the Stanley cameo. The Stanley cameo in this movie just seems too short for me because Stanley only gets like a second as a reporter or something like that. It's not a movie killer, but it does seem meaningless if you're a Stanley fan like I am. As for the final verdict and the rating goes, I think that this movie doesn't get the credit it deserves because of the Justin Hammer situation and perhaps the underwhelming third act that took place. In my opinion, this movie deserves an 8 out of 10 because of the bad things such as an underwhelming final act, final battle of the movie, the Stan Lee cameo, and Justin Hammer. But this movie had a lot of good in it, such as the post-credit scene, the first act and second act, some of the side stories going on, the Mark V suit, and the change of actor in the War Machine role. So, what do you think of this movie? Did you enjoy it as much as I did, or did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments below, and like the video to let me know you guys like this content. I'll be moving along through the rest of the movies pretty quick, so subscribe to keep updated. And with all that said, I am The Breakdown, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.